Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this exclusive video interview series brought to you by People Matters in association with Oracle. I'm Yasmin Taj, Senior Editor with People Matters, and I will be your host for this conversation. People Matters, along with Oracle, is curating a series of video interviews titled The Reboot Toolkit: HR's Guide to Reimagine the Workplace. We all know that the workplace is going to be the new for HR too. There's a growing consensus among HR and business leaders that the emerging new workplace will be hybrid in nature. This means companies need to reimagine and redesign their strategies. From recruiting, experience, and skilling, companies will need to rethink workplace practices in a way that enables them to make optimum use of talent with flexibility as a key business value proposition. In order to understand more on this, we have in focus three industries: BFSI, healthcare, and ITES, from which renowned industry leaders of top notch organizations will share their invaluable inputs on various facets of reimagining work. These inputs will be stitched together in the form of a first of its kind video ebook, which is designed to give you a holistic view of the emerging future, technology priorities, and strategic action steps that business and HR leaders need to be thinking about. This video ebook features some of the best and brightest leaders reflecting on the principles that they will rely on to make the most of a quickly changing marketplace. And today it is my pleasure to welcome Genpact's Chief Human Resources Officer Piyush Mehta, who leads Genpact's global human resources function and plays an integral role in the company's ongoing journey to be an employer of choice. He has contributed to a wide variety of areas involved in people management in both business and corporate roles, including employee relations, organization capabilities, integrations of mergers and acquisitions. And we also have with us Oracle Corporation's head HCM application strategy India, Hardeep Singh. Over the last 2 decades, he has been an entrepreneur, a student of human resources, and a consultant to many Fortune 500 organizations on areas of talent management, organization design and development, employee experience, leadership development, succession planning, and career management. Thank you so much, Piyush and Hardeep, for joining us today.
Thanks, Yasmin. Wonderful to be on the program. Looking forward to talking to you and partnering with Hardeep on this.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Piyush. A
Thanks,
very
Jasmine. Thanks,
you.
thanks, Piyush. Yeah,
Thanks,
look
Hardeep.
forward.
Looking forward to a very, very interesting and exciting conversation here. So, without further ado, let's begin with our first question. And Piyush, I'll come to you first. So, what has the last few months taught you about building a culture for remote working?
So, to start with, it has taught us that culture is absolutely critical. Peter Drucker had said culture eats strategy for breakfast. The last few months have been more telling. It's more like culture eats strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It is pretty clear that working from home comes with its own set of challenges for employees to feel engaged. And this is where we believe the criticality of culture comes in. Supporting our remote teams, providing a cohesive culture among globally dispersed teams is vital. So, how do you drive that shared purpose and that shared set of values? It is through a strong underlying culture and our culture framework, which we call CI Square, where CI Square stands for curious, courageous, incisive, on a bedrock of integrity, has been hugely beneficial in driving that shared set of values across the organization. And if we think about the underlying behaviors, which emerge, it is about humility, it is about inclusiveness, it is about speed to outcome, it is about a tolerance for ambiguity. All of these things become really important in the environment that we are seeing today because no one really anticipated it. You learn something new every day. And so, the behaviors underlying that culture become absolutely critical. And our view is that employee experience, business results, and establishment of a relationship of trust between employees and the company. These are the three things which become absolutely critical at this point in time. Now, when we talk about all of this can be really soft conversations. It's important to anchor it in data and anchor it in real stuff. So one of the most important things is how are we capturing employee sentiment at this point of time. Traditionally there were pen and paper surveys, it took a long time, etc., etc. One of the things that has really helped us, and I'm delighted to be sharing it, is a real time capture of employee sentiment on an ongoing basis is what we have enabled ourselves to do. And it was fortuitous that we went down this path, probably about a year back. So when the crisis hit, we found we were able to gauge real time how employees were feeling, and we are talking about 100,000 employees dispersed across multiple countries across the world. What we can tell you is that employees have been more engaged, and we can tell you this on the basis of real-time data. We can tell you that productivity went up, and we believe it is because of that engagement going up. And we are continuing to monitor that all the time. So I think that becomes very important. Finally, what I would say is, as we are driving all of this, it's important to, if you don't have the real workplace, to create a virtual community where employees can share stories of culture, share stories of hope, resilience. That highlights the positive sentiment. It generates a sense of pride and community. It celebrates our culture. So that's something that we've enabled, where we provided a virtual community where people can come and talk about their stories of resilience, talk about adapt and rise, and so on and so forth. Yasmin, if you were to ask me one thing that we still haven't solved for completely among the many things that are open, is how do you ensure that people joining the organization now, post the pandemic, how do you ensure that they get the same flavor, bite, and learning of Genpact culture? We are attempting to solve for that. Excuse me, no easy answers, but we should get there soon. That's an important to do for us.
Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Piyush, for sharing that. I think it's very important, the way you said, to build that culture of trust amongst employees. It really doesn't matter whether they're working virtually or whether they're working at office. So I think Genpact already has a very illustrious story to show in terms of creating the right culture. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'll come to you, Hardeep, now. So how would you describe the impact of technology in enabling HR today? And how has it changed the workplace culture, if you're talking about culture specifically?
So it's changing in three key ways, and Piyush also mentioned about it. First one, Yasmin, is how technology is helping HR design personalized experiences which are consistent with the organization culture. That's one. Second, what it is really doing is it's unlocking the power of data. And now this is across the employee life cycle, right? From recruiting to onboarding to recognition to performance, talent management, even employee safety and welfare. The entire spectrum of an employee life cycle is where technology is helping unlock the power of data. And lastly, I wouldn't say lastly, thirdly, it's super fast communications. I used to run engagement for one of the largest life insurance companies in this country. And we used to run it quarterly. And when we were doing it quarterly, we were considered as path breaking. Today, we can do it on demand. You want it today, you want it this moment. You can get it any moment you want. You can identify issues, you know what's working well, and then you can go action out of it. So all of this together is impacting the workplace culture. And also what this is helping HR is really focus on being a change agent and focusing on employee relations, which is really taking center stage today. I would lastly say culture is, and that's something which has not changed, that culture remains and it remains and will remain as hostage to intent. So no matter what technology processes we bring in, fundamentally, if the intent is there, and rather the intent becomes a precursor for any of this to manifest and to be created.
Absolutely, Hardeep. Thank you for sharing that. I think, yes, your entire point about creating that entire employee experience has become so critical in these times that HR is actually playing a very critical and a very foundational role in doing that, especially in the times that we're living in right now in this entire virtual working space. So, Piyush, what would you like to add to what Hardeep just said about, how do you describe the impact of technology now in enabling HR and how is it changing the workplace culture?
Look, I think the first key thing here is, and that hasn't changed, is uh, technology serves a purpose, and that purpose is to ensure that employees, and I'm talking about it from the people perspective. I'm talking about technology serves a purpose which is not to become the end in itself, but to enable employees to be able to better deliver outcomes to clients. And I think it's important to have that perspective. I don't think that has changed. In fact, it's become even more important. The second thing that I think is important to point out is employee experience has become really, really critical. Okay, there were times when we used to use technology, which, in all fairness, was not user friendly. Just to keep it simple, so the concept of CX or EX has become really, really important. What we are calling internally the ability to provide consumer grade experiences to our employees. The ease with which people navigate, for example, an iPhone, or the ease with which people do, let's say, phone banking, is the same ease that we should be providing our employees with. And therefore, experience, in our view, becomes really, really critical. I think the third thing that we have discovered is the world of HR moved from, let's say, ERPs to best of breed for the hire to retire processes. That a bunch of things happened in that whole evolution. As a result, what has happened is that most organizations have a proliferation of systems, platforms, technology, and the interoperability of those systems, if there can be such a word, you can call it interdependability of the systems as well, is complex. And therefore, think about, we've got something for performance management, we've got something for CNB, we've got something for onboarding, but to be able to pull all of this together so that it talks to other enterprise systems as well, and then provides an employee a consumer grade experience in her hire to retire cycle in the organization, becomes key. Next point, talent analytics, so critical. Okay, and talent analytics in terms of things like, for example, organization network analysis, which enables you to figure very interesting developments, which enable you to figure how are people networked in the organization, how are people connected. It helps you predict rock stars in an environment which is in a B2B environment where perhaps there's a 15 to 18-month sales cycle. You can that in how able to capture employee sentiment, which we talked about earlier, and then reskilling. I think all of these have very important plays with technology. And therefore, I think the opportunity is just tremendous. And I don't think there is an option but to be able to leverage technology for all of these things.
Yes, absolutely. I think yes, technology, as you rightly said, is the bedrock, is the foundation where all these experience fall into place. So I remember when we began 2020, we actually said that it is the era of EX, and as you rightly said, EX leads to better CX, and that's what organizations are focusing on these days. And technology helps them do that to a very large extent. So yes, Piyush, thank you for sharing those insights with us. So Hardeep, we're talking about technology, and from collaboration to onboarding, there are a whole host of factors to account for while redesigning your culture for remote working. So, which is the most challenging area according to you, and why?
You called out two of the most challenging areas, Yasmin. First is collaboration and onboarding, and collaboration requires trust, and in its essence, and and for that, transparency is a key vector for which technology is actually helping in many aspects. There are implications of trust building from a lack of being physically present, uh, lack of seeing a person in action. All of that is there, but it's also helping reducing bias. Today, because of transparency, you have data, you have visibility on what is more objective, and hence uh, it is less of focus on how a person looks, behaves, and some of the choices he or she makes. So with that bias out of the window, and with data and transparency coming in, my sense is it will offset the lack of personal interaction to some degree, uh, and collaboration and trust will actually enhance from here on. The key challenge as of today to my mind, is the onboarding challenge. And within onboarding, uh, the challenge is even more severe for the managerial cadre. So, be it new managers, or for that matter, managers who are joining in externally an organization, for them to be integrated into the culture, for them to become the brand ambassador for a culture, I think that remains the biggest challenge today. As remote working gains more acceptance and more sustainability in this new world, I think that's the key challenge to solve for. Uh, I don't think many organizations have got this completely solved right now, but
Yes.
I think this is a WIP as of now. It's a bit unfortunate that the new managers and the new joinees who are coming in today, they're somewhat like midnight children. Uh, they've seen and experienced managers of a different kind, but what is expected from them is absolutely different, which is in response to what the today's environment is. So that's the big challenge according to me, getting onboarding right, and not just the hardware of the onboarding, the softer side of onboarding is what I meant here. And within that, getting the managers uh, become the brand ambassadors for the espoused culture of the organization.
Absolutely. I think I so agree, Hardeep. I think the feeling of belongingness, I think that everybody wants to feel when you're a new joinee just entering a workplace. I think that's so important. And in these times, it's so unprecedented. And how I think Piyush also spoke in the very beginning, said that that's one challenge that even they are foreseeing in their organization. So Piyush, could you tell us more about, one is onboarding. Could you tell us more about the kind of challenges you're facing, and what other challenges do you see in creating a remote work culture?
So, Yasmin, we talked about onboarding, right? So I won't go into details there. We've already spent enough time on that. I think, look, the second thing, and we were seeing this earlier. We are seeing this now also. Work from anywhere as opposed to work from office brings its own set of challenges. Okay, think about data security, all of that stuff. Okay, on the IT side and the physical infrastructure side and the data side. So that is one. Okay, but I think equally important is we have hundreds of supervisors who are the frontline managers for our frontline associates. Now, there's a bunch of things that we can do virtually, but at the end of the day, the supervisor spends the maximum amount of time with that individual in the frontline team. Okay. And is the tunnel through which the individual, the frontline associate sees the rest of the organization. Now, you can have intranet, you can have virtual connects, you can have a bunch of those things. But at the end of the day, in a remote environment, that supervisor becomes really, really critical. And when we have thousands of supervisors, some will be naturally really good at their job, some won't be naturally really good at their job, and that's life, and therefore there is variation in performance.
Yeah.
And if we step back, most of our jobs are about solving for variation. If you look at Six Sigma, our day-to-day lives are about solving for variation, and in that context, solving for variation in manager performance becomes really, really critical. So I think that's the most important thing, in addition to onboarding, to look at. That how do you, and this is not different from what it used to be earlier. The only difference was that in office you had a bunch of other influences. People could walk by, your supervisor could walk by, there are other people who can have conversations. In a remote environment, that becomes more focused. Okay, so that becomes important. I think what also will need to be solved for is what will the workplace look like as this evolves. So it is pretty clear that it will not be work from office the way it used to be earlier. The model will be more of a blend and more of a hybrid. But what will the new workplace look like? What will the hybrid look like? Will the offices be as large as they used to be? Or will they be, satellite offices? Will people work a week at a time from home and a week at a time from office? Don't know. There are all of those things that will continue to evolve. We will continue to learn. So I think there are a bunch of things in remote working where the solutions will emerge over a period of time, and it'll be, to us, the way we think about it is it'll be test and learn, fail fast, and then learn quickly from that, as opposed to thinking about answers as being set today.
Yeah, so it's like living each day and then planning your strategy, your your workforce planning according to that. So interesting, very interesting. Thanks, Piyush. So Piyush, how do you think is the role of managers changing in this entire remote working environment? You spoke about how supervisors are dealing with a different set of challenges. So how's the role of the manager changing now?
Look, I think the biggest ask is going to be about empathy. It's going to be about EQ. It's going to be about patience. It'll be about transparency. It'll be about authenticity. It's about recognizing what people are going through, recognizing that different people have different challenges. So, that whole compendium of behavioral skills will come to the fore, and a lot more to the fore than before. Communicating frequently, talking about what we know, talking about what we don't know. It's okay not to have all the answers. The whole concept of vulnerability, I think. So I think if I'm to take away from all of this, I would say, a particular kind of experience or years of experience will become even more irrelevant. I think it's about people in tune with looking at the big picture as it relates to potential, people understanding the softer side, people, with higher EQ will become, even more important to be able to balance the task orientation.
Absolutely agree. I think the more we're hearing all global speakers, across the globe, and I think the one word about having empathy and also showing your vulnerability, as you rightly said, is very important for leaders today. And interestingly, one other aspect that I learned of recently was having an adversity quotient. It is about how you deal with crisis when it comes to you unprecedented like these times. So, great point. Thank you, Hardeep. Would you like to add anything to that as to how the role of managers is changing?
I think Piyush has summed up pretty well. I mean, there's little to add to it. It's just that the whole concept of manager being responsible for delivery and monitoring, I think that piece more and more will get automated. And and the human aspect of what a manager is, the emotional connection with the team, the part of uh, being a great listener, being there and helping this team, helping his or her team navigate through adversity is what will come up. So I think I think there'll be a big resurgence of the human values or what makes us human, and that's what managers uh, will be expected more of.
Absolutely. I think, yes, I read somewhere that the future of work is going to be human. And you very, very nicely put that through also. So thank you so much, Hadeep, and thank you, Piyush. I'll now move on to some rapid fire questions for the both of you. So just to quickly get a pulse of what you're thinking these days. So Hadeep, I'll start with you. As a leader, what is your one top priority or key focus area currently?
Uh, my focus area is to ensure that my teams are safe and the teams are healthy, both physically and emotionally. That's my top priority.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Piyush, what about you? As a leader, what is your one top priority or key focus area currently?
It's about keeping on learning all the time. There are no certain answers, there are no clear answers, and as we talked about earlier, solutions will continue to evolve, and we need to learn from those. So looking to learn and openness to learning, I think, will be critical.
Yes, that's a great point. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Hadi, the next question is for you. So, what is that one idea on leveraging technology to boost experience that you'd like to share?
Okay? Treat the employee as a customer and treat her as one individual customer, not in a category.
Great, great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Piyush, the same question for you. What is that one idea on leveraging technology to boost experience that you would like to share?
I think ensuring that we provide employees with consumer grade experiences with technology and with their everything to do with their employment is critical. So compelling ourselves to provide best in class user interfaces and customizing that to the specific needs of an employee is absolutely mission critical.
Absolutely great. Thank you so much. On that note, we come to the end of this interview. I think there were some very interesting things to learn from Piyush and Hardeep both on how in this remote working culture and in this remote environment, it is so critical for HR leaders as well as other leaders to focus on employee experience, focus on being more human, focus on empathy, and also focus on leveraging technology that creates a personalized and human experience for your people. So thank you so much once again, Piyush and Hardeep, for sharing such great insights with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, these were the Genpact's Piyush Mehta and Oracle Corporation's Hardeep Singh sharing their insightful thoughts with us. We really hope you enjoyed watching it. Watch the conversation with our next industry leader in our next episode. Thank you so much once again. It was a great conversation, Piyush and Hardeep. Thank you so much, and see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.
Thanks, Yasmin. Thanks, Hardeep. Good talking to you.